they'll be on an iron sight mounted machine gun, and they'll just shoot one bullet. They'll go boom, and you just fall over through a door hinge, dude. It's crazy. It's stupid. Anyways,
you made me excited, and then you made me like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I'm not playing this game.
Took it all away. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talk about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jessica Sam.
And I'm Walter. And I'm the new pizza man.
The new pizza man.
Your boy just had pizza.
Oh my God. For the first time in how long?
Over a month. I had my 1 month like follow-up appointment with my doctor, and she was basically I eased into the question with a preamble. So I'm like, so like given the fact that blah 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 blah, and she's like, you can eat everything again.
Oh my
like she just cut me off. She's like, I know what you're gonna ask. I was like, given that I haven't really had any problems
dude
with, so yeah, she's like, honestly, there's not really gonna be a huge difference between like now and a week from now, which is when I still had 1 more week. She's like, just chew everything real good and take it easy, and I was like, say no more. When can I leave?
Quickly, are your windows in the proper order?
Nope.
Perfect.
Now they are.
It's crazy how much. So was pizza your first solid food meal?
No, it instantly drove across the street to Wendy's and got a junior bacon cheeseburger and a crispy chicken sandwich.
Dude. Okay.
And I have to say, eating those where you take like bites that are like a third of what they should be, and then over chewing them, it's not as good. As there's just something about like when something tastes really good, you want a huge bite, you want to be chewing with your mouth full, and then you want to be like taking bites before you're done chewing and swallowing, right? You just want to like
I think about this all the time. I eat so fast, like I barely chew my food, and it's crazy because like I overeat because I want the taste. You just want the taste continually, but I basically, it's just like hung 1, 2, chew, swallow. It's like, if you want it, just, don't over chew it to a point of pain, but let it marinate for a second before you swallow it.
With the chicken ordeal. That's what happened. It was like chew, 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 and then take a bite, chew, chew, swallow. Oh God.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's like, dude, I do that. Yeah. So
you know what? So my doctor was talking about that. You know what she said? She's like, first of all, she asked me if I was a lefty or a righty, and I said I was a righty. She said, good. Eat with your left hand.
Oh.
She said lefties, it's not a problem for them because they're used to doing everything with their right hand anyway.
Yeah.
But righties struggle a little bit more with it. So
that's interesting.
It slows it down just because like you have to think more about like when you cut.
Yep.
And then like she's like, it just naturally slows you down.
Fascinating, actually. That is fascinating. One of the things that one of the things that contributes to it is just like, now that we have kids, everything is like, I just want 5 seconds to eat my food. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, blah, 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 everything. But dude, I noticed that. And then it's weird how weird chewing becomes when you're like, focus on chewing your food. Like, stop just swallowing bites whole. And then you're like, my jaw hurts. It's freaking weird, man.
So it's about this time that we want to do a quick little reminder about our Patreon.
Quick little reminder to check the goddamn audio levels in OBS.
Tell us what happened, bud. Tell us what happened. We had a nice 2-hour just hangout session between friends.
Oh my God. Oh, so yeah, as a reminder, we have launched the Patreon, the PP, the Creamcast, the alternate universe, the Hot Dog Finger Show. And we want to, and one of the things is we're starting to create extra content. We're doing an extra episode of the podcast every week where we'll do some Q&As. We'll just do some random stuff. I had just moved the day before It was Sunday. I moved everything in my office. I set it up. Monday morning, we recorded this extra episode of the podcast. And I don't know what happened because I have a video. When I was testing the audio and everything of OBS, my kid came into my room and like sat on my lap and I put the headphones on him and I have that video with audio. And after that, I opened OBS for us to have our meeting. I could hear you. You could hear me. I could hear my mic monitoring. But for some reason, OBS, all 7 or 6 of my GoXLR like inputs, like the music channel, the mic channel, the chat channel, the Discord channel, they were all just saying disabled / not working. That's what they all read. But I didn't know it at the time because the video was working and I've never checked the audio levels. I've never had to. 4 years we've been doing the podcast, 3 years. It's just always worked. So I didn't like check. We just fired it up. I could hear you. You can hear me. Dude. And when I opened it up to edit it, and it was just a hour and 40 minutes, and it was just 4 channels, just flat lines the whole time. My heart sank, dude, because it was good conversation, bro. My first thought was like, there's no way we could just like redo that. Like we couldn't answer those same questions again because it just like that conversation. And I messaged Veritas and he was just like, we just hung out, buddy, for a little bit. I felt so bad. Oh,
but it's so funny. I always talk about a couple of the podcasts that I always listen to, and one of them is Cool Games Inc.
Yeah.
And one of their episodes starts with one of them being like, "Sorry about last week, guys. We after we recorded the 2-hour episode or whatever, we closed out Audacity and realized that nothing was recorded, and then they literally had like the same conversation." Yeah, so
I was someone in chat was saying we should get Subtlety with his podcast GPT and see if there's an AI that can read lips and then use our voices, and then just no matter how accurate it is, we just post it.
Dude, can you imagine?
That
it would be like
creepy,
bad lip reading.
dude.
The unbelievable bad lip reading.
Yeah. But all that to say, if we're not gonna we don't want to hammer it home too much, but it's the first few weeks we're getting it all set up. If you are interested in supporting, additionally, there's fun, hilarious other content working. You can get there's early access to episodes, ad-free viewing. There's the extra episode that we're gonna do. Me and Veritas have been DMing a ton recently about like extra little either one-offs or potentially like series of like stuff we could talk about, stuff we could do. And so patreon.com/the Pogcast pod. It'll be linked below. But the support over there has been pretty unreal. So we are very, very, very thankful and excited to actually post real content and not just video with no audio.
And the chance, and think about it now. Like now you want to get in because the chances of us up have gone
way down. Yep.
So everybody who signed up before, sorry, you guys are all suckers. No.
Oh man,
that just reminded me. So one of the things that I was thinking about was, did you ever see not Indie Game the movie? Actually, that's another good one. Have you seen Indie Game the movie?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna make a list here.
Okay.
Have you seen The King of Kong?
No, but we've talked about that before.
Bro, okay. One of the ideas that I had that we were throwing around was, what if we just like watched something like The King of Kong, which I'm assuming is like a 90-minute, maybe an hour, 90-minute like documentary basically on Netflix, where we just watch it together and we just have our 2 webcams and we just like shoot the pause it and like react to like all kinds of different content. Because remember how I was saying, actually I don't know if I talked about it before, how like I ended up watching like a ton of people reacting to like Interstellar.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just like, bro, we should just like,
that would be funny.
And we won't have, seeing as how like we upload the video directly to Patreon, I'm not sure we'd have like the whole copyright, automatically detecting that this is Interstellar, whatever. So the only reason why I thought of that was because I was watching something that had a clip of it, and it reminded me of that, plus the whole Skies basketball thing, because one of the guys who's like one of the main characters sort of in the documentary, his wife was talking, and she was talking about all of the things he's done, like how the guy's
Mm-hmm.
accomplished, and she's like, and this is what she says verbatim, and I had to go back and like double take it. She was like, um, he's like an accomplished school teacher. He plays Donkey Kong, but like also he, for was like a semi-pro baseball player. He was a basketball. And it just she just says he was a basketball.
He was a basketball, dude. Oh,
and I was like,
God.
wait, did you say he was a basketball?
He was basketball.
He was a basketball.
He has become
the sky was a basketball.
Basketball. Oh, God, that's amazing.
Anyway, so we need to watch it just for he was a basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's an
I need
idea.
some the sky is basketball merch.
Holy dude, can you imagine?
Like some sort of like campsite scene with the big sunset in the background, but it's got like the Spalding and the line.
Malding.
Yes, in the Spalding font. and the camp, it's an RV, and there's two guys out front yelling, and there's so many layers to that.
We need me and you, but like old.
Yes.
Somehow make us like look like old men sitting on like the things, drinking beer, on the lawn chairs.
The sky is a basketball.
Then the sky is a basketball.
This is Malding instead of Spalding. Wow.
Yeah, someone needs to
mock that up.
Sketch that up, toss it up on like Twitter or something.
Mid-journey that. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Yep. I'm literally gonna do that right now. I'll stop talking. Now while I'm doing that, did you hear about the whole Linus Tech Tips Gamers Nexus?
Oh yeah, I did.
Thing.
I watched.
So like I never actually knew anything really about Gamers Nexus. I think I probably came across like one of his videos in the last few years, but I used to watch a lot of Linus Tech Tips, and I used to really like his content. And then I kind of stopped watching for a while just because like things change, whatever. But then he kind of came on my radar again when the whole goat thing happened, and I just remember watching that, like their coverage of it, and feeling kind of disappointed a little bit, where it was like, I don't even remember why. All I remember is I just felt like it was like Hot Take City.
Yeah. The one thing, I haven't watched much of that, like their WAN show, which is like the podcast. But yeah, I'm the same. I used to watch a ton of Linus Tech Tips, and I used to watch a ton of Gamers Nexus videos, but I just haven't as much. I still watch some Linus stuff, like their news channel. They've got like a tech news channel, Tech Linked, and a gaming news channel that I watch pretty frequently. But yeah, that was super interesting. That whole thing was super interesting. I watched that whole Gamers Nexus video. Did you watch the original video he did?
I watched the original video he did, and then I watched like the follow-up video
where he was like reacting to that Linus, that the Linus Media Group did.
And then I watched his like response. Actually,
his
Gamers Nexus's response before that video came out.
His response was to like the forum post that Linus did after everything happened.
God, it was kind of they really fucked up.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, like, and Gamers Nexus did kind of like, I mean, his video was compelling, right? Like, if you watch the whole thing, you're like, oh man. And I kind of get it. It's hard because on one hand, I've seen everybody's opinions, and like, I've seen everyone's opinions of oh, this is just like drama baiting and stuff like that. And it's like, I get it. Like from Gamers Nexus, that's how niches work, right? Like if somebody was making videos misrepresenting Tarkov, or saying like, if somebody was like had this huge channel and they were like saying, Nikita, and when people do this, they make money off all the cheats, stuff like that. Like in the niche of Tarkov, I get super upset about that because I'm like, oh, this is so lame. But someone might not think that's a big deal. It was the same thing. It was like, of course Gamers Nexus cares, and of course because they're a part of that same, not organization as far as Linus Tech Tips, but they're a part of the same group of people that report and do testing and do stuff. And so it definitely affects him and his industry and his business and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to see it all kind of play out and what Gamers Nexus laid out. And it was very compelling at every level with the whole Billet Labs thing, with the just like all the changes that have needed to be made in the videos and inconsistencies. It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I the whole idea that it's drama baiting, like, thinking because something will cause drama means it's drama baiting.
Ding 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 ding. In 2023, yeah.
Yeah, that is just such a basic, like, you can't type that without a North Face jacket and Uggs and like a Starbucks venti chocolate latte in your hand and like every girl I was in college with. It's like, it's the most basic ass take ever.
Yeah, it's the most, somebody said in the chat, the most like chronically online take. Like, go out in the real world if you think every criticism is drama baiting.
It's kind of similar to the people who complain about if there's a title in a YouTube video or a thumbnail that's like super provocative, that's clickbait.
Yes.
It's only clickbait if it's misleading.
Yes.
If it's like, you'll never guess where I got this $1 million from, and you found a bag of $1 million, it's not clickbait.
It's not clickbait.
It's not. It's marketing. You nitwit.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like clickbait if you found a $10 bill and made it. You'll never guess where I found this $1 million. You know what I mean? And you end the video with being like, I'm going to invest this and turn it into $1 million someday. It's like, come on, bro.
Like every thumbnail, like 6 years ago, every thumbnail had like a bikini wearing girl
gone sexual
with like her boobs like half out, and she was never in the video.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like that is clickbait.
Yes.
But like, it's just people see a thing and they think that like, oh, that's that matches the criteria, right?
Yeah.
That must be the thing. I can categorize it at the thing, and I don't have to think for myself.
Yeah.
There's a common theme. Like reporting on something that's going to cause drama.
Yeah.
Is not, like Edward Snowden, just
drama baiting, bro.
Drama baiting everybody, bro. He just wanted the attention, right?
Yeah.
God, typical YouTuber Snowden.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with you, and I don't think it was. I think like I heard of everything first from the Linus perspective. The very first thing I heard about the whole thing was I read his forum post, and so it's crazy to like. I am willing to acknowledge this. Few people are. It's crazy how much your first hearing, your first knowledge, and your first perspective of an issue can frame it. I read that and I was like, oh, this Gamers Nexus video is bullcrap, right? And then I watched the video and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not. You know what I mean? So I thought Gamers Nexus did a really good job of just like laying it out, and especially in his first video, not getting too emotional. He was just like, hey man, here's what we see and here's the things we take issue with. So
it was super objective.
Then I went back and read the forum post again, and I was like, oh,
yeah. Like if anything, there's a way that he could have done that would have been like needlessly, needlessly drama baiting. But that was just something that like it needed to be done. It needed to be said.
And what was he advocating for? That's another thing. Is this drama baiting? Well, he was advocating for Linus and the team, but just to be accurate, concise, take extra precautions, transparent. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't advocating for like himself to get more view or whatever. It was just like, hey man.
It wasn't just like talking and reacting.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a big thing too. Like he especially in that first video, it was like, he even said a few times, like, I want you guys to succeed and do the best you can do. It's just, here's what's happening here. And then the really damning thing was like, even in that very first video, all of the footage he used from Linus videos where all the Linus employees were like, I wish we could slow down and not post as many videos.
Yeah, well, I need to know like what video that was from.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video. It was like, they did a thing where, they like, it was like, how is working for Linus or something. And yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, right? Like, I hope, like, the Linus Media Group has ceased all production of all videos on all their channels. I hope that they come out of this better. I love that content. I've seen so much Linus Tech Tips content. I hope that they come out with a better system and are more accurate and are better for it. I think, yeah, maybe some of the responses were not great, but my hope is, like, I still love all those channels, and I've come to love a lot of the people that, like, are the faces of some of the other channels, you know what I mean? And I know they want to continue to do what they're doing. So it's like,
yeah, see, the hard part is I wonder, like, what we can criticize how he responded, and I guess the whole thing is, like, what do we want? What we really want is for him to, for Linus to basically say, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
We're going to do better. No excuses, no justifications.
We rarely get that these days, though, from people.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I think the only time I've ever seen anything like that, and I don't even remember what the details were, and I don't like take sides or anything like that. Yeah. It's been so long. But remember the dude who used to make the videos where he would, like, be like news, like, Channel 5 News. Didn't something Andrew? No.
What's his, Andrew Callahan or something?
I think so. Yeah. I think there was something maybe with, like, inappropriate text to girls, or I don't know. I don't remember what the details were. Yeah. But yeah, I think, like, his response at least was like, well done. Like, if you're gonna do it, like, this is how to do it.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I might be misremembering, but I want to try something. Let me see if this works.
Oh.
Yo, God. Yo, Midjourney. It didn't quite get it.
Yo.
The sky is indeed basketball.
Dude, there's so much to that, because, like, the backboard is, like, Midjourney was like
a peace sign.
It was like, I'm gonna make the backboard a basketball, and then it was like, no, I'm gonna put a basketball in the middle of the backboard that's half of a basketball. And then like,
there were a few that, honestly, that would be like a perfect t-shirt, that design.
Yeah.
So what I typed in sunset, but the sun is a basketball over a campsite in the style of 90s flat design.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there was dude,
that
some of
caught me off guard. Holy cow.
Some of what we got here. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Look, dude, there's a basketball. I didn't even see there's a basketball hoop.
The freaking backboard.
I don't know why. These are all basketball.
Oh my God.
Everything is Tatooine. What the fuck is this, dude? What is that?
I don't know.
Look at that.
But I love it.
But, like, this is amazing. It's actually, like, incredible.
Oh, dude.
That's even a basketball?
Yep. Bro.
Yeah, we need to do a segment, a new segment every episode, which is like random
Midjourney merch
AI
design.
Yeah.
Woof. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Oh.
All right, so Tarky, what's the deal? What's going on?
Yeah, Tarkov. So, some interesting things happened. Nothing crazy going on that I can remember, like, with the actual wipe. Just more of the same. No new patches, no new... Yeah, I don't think there's anything crazy. But what we got yesterday morning at like 3 a.m. Eastern time, Battlestate Games went live, which we knew Gamescom was this week. And we knew that they had talked about wanting to do like arena, showing off arena. But like, do you remember way back? You remember the first time they did this, where it was like a lore stream where Battlestate Games went live, and it was like the set, and it was like Peacekeeper somebody was sitting at the desk as peacekeeper. That was the first time that happened, and it went for like 48 hours, and it was just he would just sleep there, and then
didn't like nothing happen.
Nothing. It was cool, and nobody was even mad about it at the time. But I don't remember what it led to. But they've done a few of those now, and they were doing another one. So they it was a combination of that and the ARG stuff. Like every once in a while, a QR code, like somebody would in the actual set in the stream would drop a piece of paper and it would land face up, and it was a QR code. And then Nolan and his nice guy and his gang, the Sons of Soon, were doing it, and they were actually like a part of it. So the set changed every like 20 minutes, and the set change, it was like you get static and it would be a new set, and the set change was a new place in the hideout. There was like the rest space and the gym, and it was always new places on the hideout. And one of them was like the Intel Center with the computers, and on the computer in the stream was like it was like user 1, user 2, user 3, and it all said access denied next to it. And every time there was a new clue to the ARG, and then the ARG guys would go start solving the puzzles, when they solved that puzzle, it would literally switch to user 1, access granted. And through the entire stream, the ARG guys were, and so the stream was just going to be up until the ARG guys could get all the clues and get all the things and give everyone access. It was like a kind of cool, like I'm not into the ARG stuff, but it was cool for those people that were. And it was just cool to see their sets, all the like hideout sets. There were like these weird security cameras that would show like scavs. At one point, like 3 scavs brought in like a legitimately 4-foot tall LEDX. It was like this huge, all 3 of them like brought, and they tried to put it in a container and shut it, but they couldn't shut it. So there were a bunch of like Easter eggs and just funny things. But the stream went on for probably 18 hours or something like that. And then somebody posted a clip in the chat.
Don't worry.
Oh yes, dude. I love that we have this now. But yeah, it's just like this humongous LEDX, and they tried to shove it into a crate.
It's so dark.
Yeah, it is dark. So it's one of the many angles. They walk away, and you can kind of see it's a LEDX. Oh, you cannot at all on my perspective, but
yeah, what the? I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can make it out. They've even gotten like the trash on the ground. Too,
yeah,
which is
dude, they really went all out. There's like concrete pieces everywhere, and dirt and grime and wires and pipes,
graffiti.
Yep. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like they pre-recorded it all, but then I don't know how they updated like the user access stuff live. I don't know how they did it, but there were quite a few sets and quite a lot of it, and it was cool. Once again, it's not like, it's so funny, man, that people just. I know it's a super minority, and I know it's not worth getting caught up about, but this is the Pogcast. But it just, man, like there's just always somebody, no matter what, it's like they could be fixing the game, dude, and they're doing this bull crap. You know what I mean? The stream is so stupid. They're not doing anything. And it's like, dude, shut up. That's it.
These people are
shut up.
Legitimately like, you know how we're afraid of like bots, like AI becoming human?
Yeah.
Humans are going to become bots before then.
Yo. Yeah.
And by that I mean they've already done that.
Yeah.
Like, these people are just, they would all fail the Turing test.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they're just the human equivalent of a failed CAPTCHA. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And I know once again, there were 10,000 people watching that, and there were hundreds of thousands of people in the Tarkov community, and it's a few dudes. So I know, but it's like, man, if these, however many 100 human beings that work at this, if they are doing anything other than eating and sleeping and making this game better, then I didn't get my $45 worth 4 years ago when I bought this game. And it's like, brother, dude, it happens all the time. I mean, we talked about this every time we're talking. Oh, like, how could they do PMC karma? Someone's like, well, they should finish the game first. It's like, dude, I know, man. It's nobody disagrees with you. Nobody disagrees with you that I want the game to be better. It's just like, shut up. But yeah, so it wasn't like I wasn't watching the stream with bated breath being like, oh my God, what's happening every minute of it. But I thought it was cool. And they here's the thing. They obviously enjoy the hell out of this stuff. They have been going crazy hard with like the themes of the sets for the podcasts that they do. They've been doing this. This isn't stuff. Once again, the perception I feel like is it is, but this isn't stuff they just decided to do recently to stall time. That Peacekeeper thing was like 4 years ago. Like they've been doing this stuff for a really long time. They love it. They love the lore. They love the raid series and the Chronicles of Rigi. So just let them fricking do it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to dig it.
See, the thing is that like, but the developers are spending, like from like Monday to Wednesday, 9 to 5. They're sitting there like moving around crates and like and graffitiing walls, right? When they could be fixing the net code. So like
100%.
So like
at least
I'm saying this as
Monday to Wednesday.
the human equivalent of a failed CAPTCHA is exactly this is what.
Did you put that into Midjourney?
This is the human equivalent of a failed CAPTCHA, by the way.
Bro, Midjourney really just upped the production value of these podcasts. Wow.
Yep.
Anyways, so it ended, and what we got, which was expected, was arena-related stuff. They launched the arena website, arena.tarkov.com, and pre-orders are open for the arena, but no date.
Who the fuck is this guy?
That's freaking Chad Willers. No, I don't know. So there's some interesting stuff to talk about here as you peruse the site. I guess we'll just...
Oh my God, wait a minute. We have the technology.
For what? Chad Willers?
No. Just like, keep talking.
Oh, yes! So yes.
For all you guys on audio, in the audio medium, don't realize that I am projecting my laptop here.
So we can show people.
So that we can actually do what people have been begging that we do forever, which is show that we're talking about, which unfortunately we can't paint as colorful a picture with my mouth words.
You'd get pretty close.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just scroll down to the people. There's not much. There's some things talking about ranking, talking about the big arsenal. If you have the Edge of Darkness edition of the game, you have the Rigi version, the Rigi edition of the game, which is interesting. Oh, if you scroll kind of all the way down towards the bottom, you can select a few of the game modes, which is kind of cool. And just kind of like see, there's a PvE mode.
The guy's name was Bromine, like the...
Oh, I don't know. There you can click a few of the maps. It looks like there's 7 maps, but you can only click on 4 of them. The bowl, the box, and the resort coming later. And there's 5 total game modes. You can only click on 4 of them. Shootout is like each team plays against each other.
Oh my God, duel better be a cage match. It better be 1v1.
Solo duos. Yeah, solo, duo, or trio modes. Then there's team fight, 2 teams of 5 players, fight for victory in 7 rounds. Overrun, by the way, very cool. PvE. It's a PvE mission for 5 players. Gold team is to clear waves of enemies. I like that. I think it's cool that there's one mode in here that's PvE. I think that's dope. And then last hero, deathmatch between multiple players. The goal of each player is to score the most kills in the allotted time. And then duel. I'm assuming that's just like straight 1v1, right?
Has to be cage match 1v1, dude. If it is, I'll cry.
Yeah.
I'll be a Tarkov main again.
OMG. And then you scroll down and you can click between the maps, but they're all the maps we've seen already. Sawmill and Bays were in the trailer.
Wait, is that Bays? It's Bay 5.
Oh, Bay 5. Bays. And then Air Pit and Equator were in the original trailer.
Yeah, that's a 5.
Yeah. No, it's a 5. I'm just dumb.
It's the Bender font. You know, that's the name of the font, right? Bender.
Bender.
Bender. Yeah.
Is that the name of the Tarkov font?
Yeah, I still use I use Bender in all my thumbnails, even for like the Diablo stuff. It's a very thumbnailable
font.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Bender. So yeah, so that's the Arena website. Pretty cool.
Yes.
See, we need
Equator.
Yeah, it's a shopping mall.
The box, resort.
Dude, resort. I really hope that's literally just Shoreline. I really want it to be. I think it would be so sick if it was just Shoreline Resort as an arena match.
All they need to do is like make it. It should just be like East Wing, West Wing, and it's
the
3 floors. With like the ends boxed in, so you can't go out either end. So it's like there's a verticality, right? Where it's 100%. You gotta go up and above and over and whatever.
We got to come up with like a layout system where we can do this with both of our faces, because it's hard not getting your impressions of this. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I need. That's what I need. Quick guess. How much does Arena cost standalone?
$39.99.
$35.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
that was a good guess.
That was a great guess, and not bad as a standalone game. Also, okay. So let's talk. We're gonna have to get to this eventually. One of the tabs there, 2 games, 1 character. Win games and your character's level, skills, and weapon mastering will grow in both EFT Arena and Escape from Tarkov, and vice versa. I don't know how I feel about that on a few different levels.
So what's bad about it?
Well, I'm not saying it's inherently bad.
Why do you hate it, and why do you want to cancel?
Yeah, why are we canceling BSG? Yeah. I am definitely concerned that... So a few things. Well, one of the takes I heard, I think Trey tweeted it, that I hadn't considered too, was just like soft skills and weapon mastery, that type of stuff. I don't know if it has a place in a competitive style game, right? Like if I just have max recoil control and you don't in like a ranked mode, you know what I mean? They have said time and time again they want this to be esports. They have said they literally got a CSGO team or whatever, the Virtus Pro. So they're seeming to market it that direction, this game, and like strength and endurance or stress resistance or vitality or perception or recoil control or assault rifle skills. I think, once again, holding my opinions with an open hand because we haven't got this yet. I just think that I was assuming and I would have wanted this type of game mode without those types of skills.
How like people's motivations to do like the cheesy, I'm gonna reload 1,000,000 times, whatever. Now the new meta is gonna be like
That's literally what I said.
Go into Tarkov, like normal Tarkov, go to Shoreline and like do all the things to speed power level the stuff so that on day 4 you'll have all of the skills, whatever.
Or vice versa. It's going to be go into team fight with 5 friends and
just like
have
everyone Call of Duty 4 headshots. Dude.
Yeah, have everyone shoot you in the leg or headshots or whatever power levels X skill, and then on day 2 of the wipe you have max stamina or max endurance, and then you go play. That's day 2 of the wipe, and then you go into Tarkov as a level 2 with max stamina, right? once again, just because, and we talk about this all the time, just because something can be exploited doesn't mean it's a bad design, or there was bad intentions, or it was bad at all. It's like the whole RMT thing, right? You don't cut off all the fun in a game because someone out there can exploit the fun. I understand that, which is why, like I said, I'm trying to hold these opinions with open hands, not closed fists. I want to play the game. But I just, a few things I think of when I see that. One, I don't know if I want skills in at all. Maybe weapon mastering through skins, that I'm cool with. Level, whatever. But like, man, skills, I'm interested about. Two, the other thing that it has me concerned with is like, what about wipes?
I was just going to say,
because if your level and skills progress together,
then the wipes apply to Arena.
Then do Tarkov wipes apply to Arena? Does anybody want that out of like a session based, arena shooter? I don't know. Once again, I don't know, but it brings up questions. And then thirdly, just how that's a. So yeah, part one was, I don't know if I just want skills in the game at all. Part two, how do wipes apply? Part three is, that's just a more aggressive connection of the games than I thought, especially since, at least previously stated by Nikita, is currency would also be shared between the accounts.
Has that been explicitly?
That was explicitly said by Nikita at one point in the past. It's not on the website. They could absolutely have changed their mind. You know what I mean? It was said by Nikita, but I don't like that whole, we hold him to stuff he said in, 2017 or whatever, but that is just a really aggressive linking of the two games. When they said they were going to connect the games, I was thinking stuff like, it would be so sick if you got to a certain level in Arena, you unlocked cosmetics that you could get in Tarkov, or armbands, or weapon skins. Like, I wasn't expecting like, if I get to level 10 in Arena, I'm level 10 in Tarkov on my first raid. That's just like, I'm like, whoa, that's more aggressive than I thought it would be, Yeah. And maybe leveling and leveling skills and leveling weapon mastery is like much slower in Arena. And so it's balanced in that way. You'd have to just put so many hours in if that was going to be your only way. I don't know.
Or it's slower everywhere.
Yeah.
Like if they made it take twice as long.
Yeah. But that would
suck for people who didn't play Arena.
I'm just interested because, I'm just interested. Definitely concerned. I would say the interest is on, like, not, the concern is, it's funny because like the concern is not that Arena will be a bad game. I'm actually really excited for it. Just the concern is the tying to Tarkov, because once again, I want to ask questions, because they're very aggressively targeting a different type of audience, right? By getting like the Virtus Pro guys and going to Gamescom and constantly talking about how esports ready it is. So to connect them, I don't know. I guess the worry is that the escape from Tarkov experience is diminished more so than the Arena experience. Because if you can level up without worrying about losing a quest item, if you can level up without having to, die and buy another kit, if you know what I mean? Like, I just worry that the Tarkov, escape from Tarkov main game experience is diminished. And I'm not saying 100% that it will be. Maybe that could have been a translation weirdness and it's not what we think it is. But just the verbatim thing on the website is 2 games, 1 character. Win games and your character's level, skills, and weapon mastering will grow in both EFT Arena and Escape from Tarkov, and vice versa. That's verbatim what it says on the site. So just, I don't know. I don't know. That's one of the things that definitely concerns me. But especially since I would have thought this would have been an opportunity for them to redo weapon mastery in a different way for Arena, or redo some of the skills in a different way for Arena, right? Like if there are skills, that could be kind of cool, but the skills in an arena shooter, in a session-based arena, would have to be different. But if you're saying they're the same, then they can't be different because they have to be the same, and that's just confusing. Now, I don't want to, obviously I don't want to freaking spend too much time on it. I definitely don't want to poo-poo it before I have it. It's just, that's what we're doing here. We're talking about Arena. We're talking about the news. We're talking about what's been done here, what they're showing us, and that it definitely has me, cautiously concerned. Now, they've been letting people play Arena at Gamescom. And so the freaking FOMO is real, dude. I'm seeing all these pictures and videos. Like someone came into my chat today, and I know like it's one of the guys that BSG, like he tweeted about it, and like BSG retweeted his tweet. So like I know he played. He came in, he was like, dude, I played Arena today, and I was like, dude. He was like, it was so much fun. Which obviously, I'm not saying one person's, if I went and played today at Gamescom, there's no universe I walk out of that booth and not say it's fun, right? It's exciting, it's new, even if it sucks.
If you had gone there,
yeah,
surrounded by all the Tarkov people and whatever, and you played Apex Legends, you would have said it was fun.
Yeah, dude, reskin Apex Legends, 100%. So, but it definitely got the FOMO.
I mean, literally Apex Legends.
Yeah. Just with Nikita staring at you.
You would have had fun just being there.
Exactly. So he was like, dude, it was so much fun. He's like, we didn't get to do everything, but like, dude, it was so much fun. And so I am definitely hyped. I am so excited. I've wanted it for a really long time. We've talked about it at length before about how it could be just it could be cool access to Escape from Tarkov and an on-ramp to the main game for a lot of people. It could be a great way to practice and get better at PvP and stuff like that for people that aren't that good. It could be a great thing to do, mid to late wipe, get a lot of the people that just end up with 1 billion rubles and wanting to chase PvP, something to do. It could be great content for, like you were saying, duels. Like imagine, like just chat all day today. We're doing 1v1s. Like that would be so sick. You know what I mean? It just nobody's losing anything. No one's losing any money. We're just freaking unranked 1v1s all day. Like, I am so excited. There could be so much fun as a result of this. I definitely have some concerns with how they're linked, but dude, so excited. Unfortunately, we didn't get a date. That was what I was hoping. I was hoping at Gamescom, which technically Gamescom is still going on, but they launched the site. I was really hoping we would get a date, but we didn't. Now, there is some theories as to what a potential date could be because of something else that happened recently. But I don't know if anybody mentioned this to you, but actually I can't even remember if we talked about it on the podcast before, but on the launcher, on the Battlestate Games launcher for the past few weeks, there's been like a countdown to Gamescom, and it was also the banner at the top said the countdown. It also said time until Escape from Tarkov price increases.
Oh, the like EOD?
Yeah. No, every edition went up in price. And now it was literally several weeks of a countdown and a big red banner on the site where they were like, hey, the price is increasing. Now it's like, if you don't have Tarkov, you wouldn't have seen that big red banner. But if you wanted to upgrade your package, you would have seen it. Anyways, I was interested at that. Now, the prices went up somewhere between $5 and $10, depending on the edition. So it wasn't like the base edition of the game has always been 45 USD. It's 50 USD now. So that's not that bad, right? I know people are mega butthurt that the price went up at all. But
I'm kind of surprised they did that.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm surprised they did it as well. I would have imagined the time to up the price of the game was like before launch, which I don't think anyone is expecting to be like.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with them doing it.
Mm-mm.
From my perspective, I feel like they've made enough money that like they wouldn't need to up the price even more, and it's already, in many cases more expensive than every other game out there. So it's
for EOD, yeah. I mean, $45-$50 these days when
that's reasonable.
AAA games are costing $70.
Yeah.
And they do sales frequently, but We've talked
Well,
about.
I mean, that's only to let the cheaters buy new
100%. That's true. The sales are not
of
for
course.
legit players. I forgot. How could I have made that mistake?
Yeah, nobody has friends.
No one. No. Um, um. Now we've talked about before how I have never played a game in my life where I've never played a game in my life where the community hates the developer so much and yet advocate for the most expensive version of the game. Like Tarkov is this like weird, if you don't like the amount of, dude, this gets under my skin so bad when people are like, dude, I just keep dying to all these freaking white name cheaters. And I'm like, that's freaking crazy. That statement was crazy of you to say. To imply that they were a cheater because they don't have the $150 version of the game, they're a cheater because you thought they were sus or not. I get that most cheaters have white name accounts, but it's crazy the culture of if you don't have EOD, especially since there's 4 editions of the game and only one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have a $110 version of the game and have a white name.
So I get it, because it's one of those things where now we know that lots of cheaters have EOD. I think a lot of them don't care, or
that's
they're that
the other thing too. Yeah,
or that it's almost like armor against. Like, you're not going to ban me. I have EOD, because why would I cheat, right? So they can cheat, and they almost feel like it's like insurance against it. I think in some ways, but like I do understand the sentiment. Just because when you get it, just like statistically, most cheaters have to be standard accounts.
Yeah,
and here's why here's why it's like meaningful, because for like a 2-year period, 97 deaths out of 100 were to EOD accounts. Like, seeing the white name was so rare.
Yeah.
It was like you'd see a scav, you'd expect it to be like a scav name when you see it white, like in your peripheral vision. So then all of a sudden, when you keep dying to sus things, and then you're like, that was sus, and then you see the standard account or the white name, it's almost like it's
I get that.
Not more evidence, but I mean that's the reasoning, right? It's like, well, it's in one more nail in the coffin.
I get that, but to me, that's like every murderer is a human. So like all these humans that make me mad are obviously also murderers. Like, that's where I am. It's like, it's true that all murderers are human, but that it does not need to be a part of the conversation. It was a sus encounter, or it wasn't a sus encounter.
Imagine someone was like, I think, this guy who's about to pull up, I'm pretty sure he was the person that like murdered my whole family. And he pulls up in like a white van, and he's got like the square glasses.
Yeah.
And he and tucked in polo shirt into his khakis.
Yes.
And you'd be like, oh, okay, that's the white name. That's like he looks like a psychopath.
But that's the thing, though, is that like you're saying that everybody that doesn't have Edge of Darkness struts around in a white van with tucked in pole. What I'm saying is those attributes, the white van, the creepy sunglasses, the fact that he's been following me for a week, I don't know if he could have hit that shot. How did he have that information? The white name is just existence. It's just personhood. It's consciousness. I have to have a white name to at least to play the game. I totally agree. What happened? You're exactly right. Everybody had EOD, and then the 2019 drops happened, and 2019, 2020, the game exploded, and not everybody bought the $150 version of the game. I totally agree with you that most, most cheaters, I would say probably most cheaters, of course, some have Edge of Darkness, but most cheaters have white names. But it's just, square's a rectangle. A rectangle's not always a square. It's like, it's just because.
Well, no, your logic is not wrong. Although I don't think that is what people are saying. I can't say what other people are saying. But in my experience, That would be as if someone was like, that seemed like a legit kill, and then they see the white name and they go, never mind, it was a cheater. I don't think people do that. I think they go, I think that was a cheater, and then they see the white name and they go, yup, definitely was a cheater.
So I think they do. I legitimately think a lot more people than you think get to the end screen frustrated that they died, see a white name, and report.
I'm sure a non-zero number of people do both.
But I would say it's probably a lot. And then secondly, I guess so. What it comes down to is like, it's just agree to disagree. Because
I'm saying I agree. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
but I understand why people think that.
Yeah, I understand it. I just disagree with it, or not disagree with it. Okay. I understand your perspective as well. It's just to me as if you said he could be the killer. He is also alive. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's like, we didn't have to say that. We said it. That's fine. Let's move. Like, okay. Like, of course, everyone that could be the killer is alive.
I think it's like the way that I'm like trying to understand this is, imagine you got bit by 2 pit bulls.
Yes. Okay.
The next time you see a pit bull, you're like,
yeah.
unreasonably, like, there's no reason to think that pit bull, right? It's not all pit bull. So it's like, I understand that it's statistically unfair for that person to be scared. It's unreasonable. But at the same time, I also kind of get why they feel that way in the moment. Like, I've done that a million times.
Yeah.
You know, and we've even talked about that before, where I've been like, have you been dying to a statistically significant number of white names all of a sudden? And
I've done it before too, right? I'm also not saying that I've never seen a white name and got frustrated. I just think when you remove the heat of the moment from it, because literally yesterday, we were going to talk about this later because I want to talk about Caban. Literally yesterday, me and Velian wiped Caban, the new boss. Velian spent all day. He wanted the goddamn PKP. He wanted the gun, and we killed Caban. He finally had it. Velian picked it up, and a speed hacker swung the corner and just killed us both.
I saw that clip.
Yeah. EOD. So I
actually saw it on my phone this morning, and I wanted to watch it because I didn't actually see anything.
Yeah.
On my phone like this morning while I was like, wiping the crusties from my eyes.
Yeah. And so I was just saying that, like, if that's the logic, then it would apply to EOD too, where it's like I've gotten bit by pit bulls with gold names too, but I don't think every single gold name is a cheater. And once again, it's hard because you don't think that way. You're not the person I'm talking about. You don't think every single white name is a cheater, but I interact with those people on a daily basis that think every single white name is a cheater, and I'm like, dude, please stop.
So I definitely wouldn't say every white name is a cheater.
And I wouldn't think that of you for sure.
But I'm trying to like be.
But it's in the Rolodex of things that you.
If I have a sus encounter and the person is standard account, that to me is a little bit more evidence leaning the scales.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you think about it, right, like, what are the chances that the person was cheating? Was it a sus encounter? Yes.
Yeah.
Did they? Some people would say, did they have like a Chinese name? Right.
Yeah.
That's another one that I think is unfair and like.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's like, it's unfair based on a stereotype, but in many ways that makes it like not unfair.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But I get what you're saying. And here's the thing though, is like, if here's one side of the conversation and here's the other, here's where I have a real problem with. And if I'm over here, you're like, I don't know what direction I'm going because I'm mirrored. What we're talking about is past the point. Like you're saying in a nuanced way that when you consider a situation, them having a white name might play a part in you being like, oh, that tips the scales one way or another. I don't think that way, but what I'm talking about that I have a problem with is so far beyond what you do, where if people literally are like frustrated that they died, and then they see the white name and then they report. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
that's
I
a
think
different thing than what that you're doing.
I agree, and I think like the last point I'll make is in very much the same way that my initial gut reaction and what I feel and what I say while I'm gaming online streaming is not. It's a heat of the moment,
Yes,
irrational
absolutely.
thing. So is 98% of the shit that
And
people say in chat.
You're
And I'd be
probably
willing
right.
to bet if we're at TwitchCon and we're chilling at the bar drinking with people, and they're like, "I'm so sick of," and you're like, "Okay, but let's think about it." They probably would walk it back to a reasonable point
and
most of the
you know
time.
what? That's a great point. That's a great point. That I always say, when I'm we had this conversation. We've had it many times on the podcast, but I was having a chat again where I was like, just give me 10 seconds to mold. Like, don't believe everything I say in those 10 seconds. Just give me the 10 seconds to mold, and then I'm gonna be fine, right? But if you start picking apart everything I said in the 10 seconds, and now we have to talk about everything, then I'm like talking about stuff I didn't really mean, but I'm trying to, and then the conversation gets weird. It's like, just give me 10 seconds to mold. For all I know, these people come into my chat and they're saying the same thing. They're just mad. Maybe they did just die to like one very legitimate cheater and they're just frustrated, so they just type all these white name Chinese hackers. And you're right. In reality, over a cup of coffee, they wouldn't say that, or they wouldn't whatever. And I should probably give people the same benefit of the doubt I want them to give to me, where it's like, Tarkov is a very mold-inducing game. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is like my woo-saw therapy. Try to like not.
Yeah.
Try to do unto others as I would. Because I know the moment I like fully agree with you, I know I'm shooting myself in the foot for the 27 clips that there are going to be.
No,
I'm like, of course it was a standard account. Like I would be a hypocrite if I was like,
understand.
I don't get it, because I do get it, but I also recognize that in many ways it's fallacious.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And either way, it is weird that, like, even separate from the cheater, and kind of where this came from, even separate from the cheater conversation, it just is crazy. Like, I would bet as a percentage point, more people have the deluxe edition of this game than like any other game. I bet I bet more, deluxe editions of Call of Duty get sold, but I bet as a percentage point of the player base, it's just crazy how many people buy Edge of Darkness edition.
If I had to guess, if I had to guess completely based on the unreasonable like number of times I've been killed and see the names, I would probably guess 80% or EOD. Whereas like I wonder if Diablo, there was like a $90 version and then like a $70 version, and like if I had to guess, part of me would based on literally nothing other than just assumptions, like baseless, but I would assume that it was like 30% got like the most expensive version. I agree.
The only exception to that are when games give, which is a very common thing now, early access to the game only to the highest editions. Battlefield 2042 did it.
Diablo did that.
Diablo did it. And,
I think.
And a bunch of games do that now. I would say in examples like that, like I know Battlefield 2042, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were playing that first weekend early. It's just crazy. But for games that launch that don't do that, that just have higher editions of the game, because Tarkov you don't get early access. You definitely get a lot of in-game stuff. And I guess now it's skewed a little bit because you get Arena for free. But even for years now, I would say tons of people have it. And it's understandable. It's not a mystery. I get it. Tarkov is a literal game about stripping every single thing you have away from you slowly and painfully. And the higher edition of the game gives you more stuff to get stripped away, gives you more place to hold more stuff, and gives you a better secure container.
And MBSS backpack, dude.
And an MBSS backpack and the trader rep. So I'm not even saying I don't understand it. I do, but it's crazy. Anyways, that was a long time, right? So the base game went up $5 to $50. The Left Behind edition is $82. I don't know what that was. The Prepare for Escape, edition is $110, and EOD went up to $150. And I don't remember what EOD was before. I thought it was $130, so maybe this went up $20. Maybe it was $135. It's been so long. I don't know, but EOD is $150 now. And then here's what's interesting. So here's why we went on this. On the website, only under Edge of Darkness edition, there's a timer, and it says time until price increase. So the price of EOD is increasing again in 127 days, which is, I believe, December 22nd, which is like, there is a theory that is when Arena is launching. And the price of EOD will go up when Arena launches, because EOD is the like edition of the game that includes Arena.
Huh.
Now, I am dumb and wrong about everything, so let's just start there. I just don't think that I don't think launching Arena around the launch of around a wipe is a good idea. I don't know. And we know that there's another wipe in December. You know what I mean? So that just seems wild. I don't know. Nikita kept saying soon. It's so soon. It's ready. He said in the podcast before the wipe, it's ready. It's ready to go. It's so soon. We just will show you guys at Gamescom soon. He said launching in the fall access in the fall. And then this timer pops up that says 127 days until EOD goes up in price. So I don't think that there's no sense in the theory. I think there's something there to be like, that could coincide with Arena, and that's why EOD is the only one that is increasing in price. However, I don't want them to launch Arena around a wipe. That just seems crazy to me.
Dude, is it because you think that they would be like dividing their attention too much for like resources, or dividing the player bases?
Yeah, I think Arena is launching in beta. Like, what we're getting is early access. Like, they're beta testing Arena. While I know what they want eventually for Arena is to gather new players to the game, the people that play Tarkov are going to be the large majority of the people that play Arena initially, and doing that, launching. So I guess the ultimate answer of to your question is both, but I think it's the people thing, because it just seems crazy to launch. I'm trying to pull it up, to launch that alongside a wipe where we get the recoil rework, vaulting, the armor customization, another Streets expansion. Like all the stuff, you know what I mean? Left shoulder shooting, all that stuff that's like definitely going to break Tarkov. You know what I mean? Doing that and that at the same time. I just feel like people are going to want to play Arena. And once again, maybe later down the line when both games have a healthy enough player base, but it just seems, that would seem wild. And then I hadn't really considered it, but then that leads me to the other thing you said, which is like, do we think that they could support that type of wipe in the launch of Arena at the same time?
Yeah, you just think like if the progression is connected.
I mean, that's a good point.
Kind of think like they would need to test how the progression.
That's a good point.
How fast are people progressing, and like what's the meta? You know, is everybody playing Arena, or is everybody playing the normal game, leveling everything up just to then switch to Arena, or the other way around? What are people doing with money? Like, they need to probably take a bunch of time. You know, they've had 7 years, multiple wipes a year, to test the wipe cycles and how that works, right?
Yeah.
It's almost all everything they've learned. So much of that is just in the toilet, because now this is going to change everything.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole idea, some people were saying like, oh, I thought they were gonna like stop doing wipes at one point, and then that always just brings up is the game gonna die? Like, what are they gonna do? It makes no sense. Like, as it is, the game would need to drastically change for that to be remotely sustainable. Otherwise, it would die after 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know, but that is a good point. If they're linking progression, then maybe they would need to do that. that just like, oh, and listen, this is personal, right? I don't own a stake in Battlestate Games. I don't advise anyone. I'm not. This is my
personal.
This is my opinion, right? This is just for me as a guy who plays the game a lot in streams. Like that would just, man, I already don't want the like progression and leveling to be linked, but that would just be so brutal to just like, I genuinely wouldn't know what to play. Like if it was Wipe Day and Arena came out, I would want to try the new Streets expansion and everything. But I would also want to play Arena, and I play 14 hours a day when the wipes happen. You know what I mean? If you play 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, and you want to play both, and you don't want to fall behind on your task progression in Tarkov, but at the same time you want, like, I don't know. That sounds like an actual nightmare to me. I am not in charge. I do not speak for anybody else. If you're a casual that's excited for the progression leveling, I'm not speaking for you. I don't DM Nikita. But I pray to God that doesn't happen. That sounds like a nightmare to me. Holy cow. But we will see. There's a few other Tarkov things to get to, but before we do, I want to take a second and thank the sponsor for this episode, and that is HelloFresh. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. You get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. HelloFresh has been a sponsor for a long time, and I will sing the song of HelloFresh. I love it. Their recipes are delicious. I've learned so many things about cooking. There's a few of the recipes now that I don't even really need the cards for, which makes me feel like a friggin'
dude. Gordo
dude,
Ramsay
I'm freaking,
over here.
I'm the bear. You know what I mean? Yes, chef. But yeah, so their food is good. The recipes are great. The portions are great. The flexibility of the program of being able to switch how many meals you want. If you want to take a week or two off, what types of meals do you want? If you want keto, or if you want extra protein, or if you want quick and easy, or if you want a little more complicated. It's just great. It's all great.
Bro, I've got, now that I can eat actual food, I've got the spicy cashew beef tacos.
Oh,
and the
yippers.
The beef and sweet potato quesadilla are like on my short list of like before Monday. I'm gonna inhale like 150 of these.
Yo, that yep. So
and they also have a sweet corn and green pepper chowder. I haven't been able to have corn either. Like it could have corn, could have nuts.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I've been like, and I've been able to have soup, but I've been wanting. Corn. I just love corn chowder.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so ready to mow this down because it's so good.
So yeah, it's awesome. It's great because everything is pre-portioned, meaning you don't have a bunch of extra. You're not throwing ingredients away, and you have what you need. There's variety. There's somewhere between 40 chef-crafted recipes every week that you can choose from. It means there's variety. It's a great balance of variety and consistency. Like there's a few things, like we always love having a taco because we just love tacos, and there's always like a few tacos to choose from. But then there's always new recipes on there too. So there's a ton. And then they have tons of other like a la carte options where you can add drinks or sweet things, or like an extra flatbread pizza or something. And then they do that really seasonally as well for like the summer. There's like nuts or all sorts of like pretzels or anything. It's really cool. So it's awesome. We love it. I've used it for a really long time. You can go to hellofresh.com/50podcast and use code 50podcast for 50% off plus free shipping. That is hellofresh.com/50podcast, code 50podcast for 50% off plus free shipping. Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode, America's #1 meal kit.
Yo, 50%, that's wild.
50%.
50 Schwiggity what?
50%. Schwiggity what?
I need to close the HelloFresh website because I'm drooling again.
So yeah, so that's most of the Tarkov stuff. The price increase, The arena news, people are playing it. I'm very jealous. We don't know when it's gonna be. Some random like actual in Tarkov. I've been playing a ton. Some interesting things. They removed the level requirement for Kappa, which is I don't know if that's just because like it's a short wipe and they don't care if people progress. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting. It's so funny to see how these things change because when Kappa was introduced into the game, there wasn't a level requirement. It was like you just had to do all these tasks. Like once you completed these tasks, you got the collector. And then they made it.
And they added 900 more streamer items, and some of which were super rare, which made it
more streamer items. And
a lot harder.
I can't remember if it was at 55 before, but then I know at one point they made it 72 was the requirement. And so I just didn't even try. And then later that wipe, way late that wipe, they lowered it to 62.
I remember that. And I think that was because of a conversation I had with Nikita. Now that I think about it, do you remember that?
Yes, I actually do.
Because I was like, bro, if you break down it, like I broke down this is how long it would take. It would take me like 3 months or whatever to like do this, and I play full time.
Yep.
Like you can't do this, man.
No.
And then he was like, well, what do you think would be a good thing? And I proposed.
I think you proposed 55 and he did 62. Something
like that.
You proposed low and he split the difference. I do remember this conversation now. It's crazy though. Like I was far and away so the wipe we just exited was the longest wipe ever and the wipe I played the most hours per week. So not just the most hours total. I played the most hours per week last wipe and it was the longest wipe ever. I played this game 40 hours a week. Okay, I was level 68. It's the highest I've ever gotten. And the difference between 68 and 72 is like 1 to 60. It's such a tremendous amount of XP. I would have had to almost do all that again to get from 68 to 72. It's crazy. So that was the only wipe I didn't get Kappa since the first wipe I got it because I was just like, screw that. But then they lowered it, but it was too late. I hadn't done the quests and I didn't care. It was whatever. Then...
Well, so one thing that... Jesse's frozen.
Oh, no.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
I was like, did his camera die or did his power go out? So one thing I do want to point out is that like just came to my head because even if it was the same XP number, like even if let's say it took 1 billion XP to get to level 60 and then it was 2 billion to get from like 60 to 70 or whatever, right? It wouldn't take you twice as long.
No.
Because not twice as long, but it wouldn't take you the same amount of time just because the XP you get like per quest and per raid, it goes up so much, especially if you're doing like the efficient meta. You go and you kill 10 raiders and you finish a bunch of daily tasks where you're getting 37,000, 58,000 XP. So, and not that changes any of the points, but
no, I mean, you definitely gain XP faster from quests. The in-raid XP levels out unless they do events. Like when they do all bosses event, like you can get 80,000 XP if you kill every single one of the bosses. You know what I mean? That's like crazy.
Yeah.
But
and you're not doing that in the first couple weeks of the wipe. You're not going to be like wiping 7 raiders on labs. You know what I mean? Like
but dailies and weeklies definitely are crazy XP. When you get up there, but anyway, so it's interesting. What I was saying was it's interesting because there didn't used to be a level requirement, and then there was a stupid level requirement, and then there was a crazy level requirement, and then there was a pretty adequate level requirement because then they lowered it to 55, and for the past 2 or 3 wipes it's been like 55, which is like okay, whatever, and then they removed it. So it's just interesting to see how that goes full circle, and now there is no level requirement, and you just have to get all the streamer items and complete all the quests. I still don't necessarily think I'm gonna go for it this wipe. We'll see. What is that?
Tarkov Arena. Escape from Tarkov Arena.
Dude.
Tell me that's...
Oh, that definitely looks like that could be an arena map.
Rackham.
Rackham.
Rackham. Remember that guy? Rackham Willie?
No.
Tell me this isn't Big Red.
Yo, seriously.
That underwent some
renovations.
Some renovations. Big Red in an alternate universe. There's a basketball over here.
Some hot dog fingers. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, capital requirement level got removed, and then dude, yesterday we were just like farming the new boss, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience. We were farming it at night, and he spawned. Here was an interesting here was an interesting design decision that made me mad and then made me happy. So, well, first of all, Kaban is just like cool to fight. Like, he really isn't hard in the way a Tarkov boss is normally hard. Like, just aimbot, you're dead. Like, if you can kill the guards, Kaban is pretty easy. You just like, because he freaking waddles. He walks so slow when he's like running around. The thing is, though, is that AI scavs will fight for him, and he can have upwards of 9 guards. And
do they all have like 1800 HP?
No, not too bad. They're like the Giga Scavs, where like it's more HP, but it's not like, Sanitar HP. What's cool too is like, once again, you haven't played a ton of streets, but you've got Lexos, which is like the car dealership with where you can go upstairs and there's the like office. And then
aren't there like a couple of sniper scavs and maybe like a turret or something up on top as well?
Yep. And then there's the little like Connex town in between. And then there's the other building that also has a second floor that you can like go out the back. One of the design things that they changed that didn't used to be in Lexos is now there's a bridge between those two buildings over the Connex town. And the sniper scavs will run back and forth between the two buildings to get angles on you. So when you're breaching through Lexos trying to worry about all of his guards, the sniper scavs will run around to get an angle at you and shoot down at you. And it's actually kind of sick. Like, Valiant did die to one of them, but it's actually kind of sick because like 4 or 5 will spawn up there, but you can hear them. Like, you can hear them running around. So it's just, in my experience so far, it's been pretty fun. We did it mostly at night. And so it's just cool. We are actually like slowly breaching in. Like, one of the ones we did was like out of a movie. There was one on the turret on the grenade launcher, and I had an angle on him. And then there was one on another turret, one of the MGs. And we literally counted it down, 3, 2, 1. We both shot 1 bullet. Poof, they both died. Then we threw a grenade over the top, because when the grenade comes in, they all freak out. We used that to run directly through the minefield in where we know is safe, inside into different connexes where we could hold angles, and like one would try and get on the gun and we'd shoot him, and then one would try to flank around and then we'd shoot him, and then a sniper scab would shoot at one of us, and then Valiant would kill that sniper scab, and then we would hear all of them on the catwalk, and then we would shoot them, and then like we just like breach through this complex, killing all these guards.
At any part of the process, are there any like questionable, semi-cheesy angles where like they should see you but they don't aim at you?
No, not that I found. There might be. So
it's not like water treatment plant clearing that is you could say the same thing about that, except you're peeking this angle and they won't shoot you and you're always safe. Like, I assume that if you hadn't counted down and you sloppily missed a bunch of shots, you would die.
Dead. If I miss my shot on the GL guy and Valiant killed the other guy, I'm dead, because that GL just starts flying. And then there's
that sounds sick.
Yeah, and there's no like tiny little angle. There's right side peaks to take, but like if I miss my shot, I'm dead. And Kaban will definitely try to wallbang you. Like, if he sees you in there, he just has that PKP dude, and he's just like literally we were in the container and I was just seeing sparks flying in, and I was like, Valiant, save me. It was crazy.
Now, is he actually like aimbotting you, like he knows where you are, or is it just kind of blindly through the wall?
Yeah, it was just like he didn't even hit me. It was just that's where I was, and I ran farther in the container, and it was just constantly hitting like that spot on the container where he saw me. And so yeah, I don't know. It's actually pretty sick. Oh, and you know what's funny, by the way? The way they fixed that on Lighthouse was now the rogues just see you. So literally, if you if you're in a building and you the slow lean right-hand peek through the hinge of a door,
they're already looking at you.
They shoot you. Just dead. Like, the way they fixed that was they've made the problem worse, not better.
They just gave them all wall hacks.
Yeah. The only reason you were doing that was because how broken their AI was. And so instead of fixing their AI, they'll just shoot. They'll be on an iron sight mounted machine gun, and they'll just shoot one bullet. They'll go boom, and you just fall over through a door hinge, dude. It's crazy. It's stupid. Anyways,
you made me excited, and then you made me like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I'm not playing this fucking shitty game.
Took it all away. Anyways, so like we move in and then we clear all the guards of Kaban, and like unless Kaban has ran out and engaged with you, he sits under that other building with like the not the Lexos building, but the other one. And so what we do is I'll throw a grenade in there in a corner, and he'll then get out of that position, and he'll just like, he waddles out, dude. He's like running, but he runs so slow. And then we just team shoot him, and we don't get aimbotted by the PKM. And so my experience with him so far has been great. Velian died and I wiped him solo once, and then me and Velian wiped him again. And he had an RPK that time, which made Velian very mad. And then me and Velian wiped him again. He had the PKP, and then we died to the speed hacker. And then me and Velian wiped him again. And we got out. He had the PKP. Anyways, so that was pretty cool. I don't know what his spawn rate is, but I will say so far he is the boss that I have like enjoyed fighting the quickest. Like normally it took a while, it took a few wipes to find the best way to fight Gluhar or whatever. But like I'm right in there, and I enjoy fighting Kaban. I think it's fun. So here's the other thing there. Here's the design decision that made me sad. So one of the quests you needed this. We just needed this key because this was a key you needed for the quest to get the extra stash base, which we still don't have, by the way. I don't have my 2 extra lines. Anyways. Is the Lexos closed section key. We needed that for the quest chain. But I forgot that like one of the, 15 streets quests, you also need that key for. When you get the quest, he gives you the key to the inner office, but you need to find the key, the Lexos closed section key, which is to the outer office.
Okay.
So that key was a very coveted key last wipe, because of the quest line. This wipe, they made that key from a 40 times use to a 1 times use, but didn't increase its spawn chance.
Of course not, man.
So it was like, so now that quest, which was already harder than freaking, because it was just so RNG, got so much harder. So I was like super pissed because me and Velian were like, so the ones on the flea market are 3 to 5 million rubles for a one-time. Like if you die to a hacker, or if you die to some AI, or if you DC because the game's netcode or whatever, you're just out the 3 million, right? You get one time. Yeah. So I was super pissed. Now, the thing that changed my mind was the 4 times we killed Kaban, he had that key on him 3 times. So that made me be like, okay, that makes sense. If you want to get into Kaban's office, kill him and take his key. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, as long as the key spawns like 70% of the time or 50% of the time and not like 8% of the time, it can't be like finding a red key card on Killa, right? But as long as the key spawns on him a reasonable amount and he has a decent enough spawn, it's not like finding Killa in interchange. If Kaban is spawned, he's going to be at Lexos on streets. And as long as he has like, 50% chance to spawn the key, I think that's kind of okay. I would like it to be 100% chance to spawn the key to make the quest a little bit easier for people that don't have time to farm streets until they find Kaban. But we found in 10 raids, we found him 4 times. He had the key on him 3 times. And I was like,
streamer luck.
I was like, that's kind of cool. So that was something that I was at first very frustrated about, but I kind of wanted to give them props for. It's like I would still change a few tiny things about it, but we talk about this all the time where it's like they have so much lore built into the game. Use it, right? You know what I mean? Like they have these moments of brilliance. Like I love the Sturman key. I wish all the bosses had keys so that everybody would like we wouldn't have to complain about their loot because it would be whatever. They have so much lore in the game. Use it. If you want me to get into Kaban's office, have me kill Kaban. I like that. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of cool. That was just a little something. But
step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction for sure.
Unless it's a bug, you're gonna find out that's a bug.
Yeah, it's key is spawning 10 times more than it should. It's supposed to be 7%, not 70%.
Yeah, no, they specifically excluded it from his loot table, but instead of doing that, they accidentally added it.
Yeah.
Sorry, our bad.
Yeah,
our bad.
But that's Tarkov. That's everything that's been going on. How's things over in Diablo Land?
So they just had the trailer. I think probably because of Gamescom, the trailer for season 2.
Oh,
which is in like October. I feel like it's like mid-October or something, which is like a while away. So naturally, people are malding about why did you announce the thing and blah blah blah, and but all of the things that they announced. Pull up real quick. Let me pull up the little patchy notes. The things that they announced are like all W's.
Yeah.
So they're adding 5 like end game bosses. Right now there's really like Uber Lilith, which is like she's just impossible and her fight's like kind of busted.
Yeah.
And then like that's basically it. There's like a new seasonal boss, but he like caps at level 80. So like you can just easily
not really end game if you're
although the cool part is that the cool thing that they did was that he's guaranteed to drop at least 2 items that have the item power at 800, which is kind of like, you know, Kaban dropping the key. It's like, you know, it's a decent reward that like makes sense. But so I guess they're adding 5. And they said new and returning foes. So one of the big criticisms that people had was that there's a bunch of bosses that are in the campaign that like you never see again. And and a bunch of them are like throwbacks to old bosses. There's like Duriel,
that's cool,
and you know, and Mephisto and all this stuff. And it's like people want to fight them.
Yeah.
And they're in the game for 4 minutes and the fights are good. And then it's like, what the so when they say new and returning foes, I'm assuming that they actually like listened and they're going to put some of those bosses or boss fights, you know, somewhere else so that you can do them, you know, repeatedly. They're adding better target farming of unique and uber unique. So the ones that are like 1 in a trillion chance of getting, they're going to add target farming methods. So it's like, if you want this item, this is the place that you go to get it.
Still super rare, but you can go here and do it.
So, which I think is good. Although like the problem is that like the same people that say there's no end game because by like 72 they have all of the items. Like they already have all of the items, so they get mad that like a million things drop and nothing's ever going to be better than what I have now. Those are the same people that are like, I can never find the specific items that I need. So it's like they want them to be rare, but they want to be able to find it. It's like, which is it, right?
Yeah.
Like either you have to just do it's either like you want it to be a lotto ticket, or the alternative is it's basically like, you know how to get it. It just takes a fixed amount of time. You know, if it's a 1% chance, then you do this run 100 times and you'll get it, you know, statistically speaking.
Yeah.
Then it's like less interesting and exciting when you get it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, which is it, right? Like, make up your mind. You can't have it both ways. Either something you're super excited to get it because, you know, you just like won the lotto.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about the uber uniques. I'm talking about like there are some items. There's like a druid item that's called Tempest Roar that like I don't remember exactly what it does. Let me just look at real quick. It basically makes it so that yeah, okay, that's it. So your the if you're a druid, your storm skills are also werewolf skills. So like there are a lot of buffs that say like your werewolf skills have a, they do more damage or they have less
Yeah.
cooldown or whatever. So in that way, it's like hard to like almost like multi-class because
Yeah.
you can only buff one or the other, whereas this makes it so that like you can be like an elemental werewolf
You're like double
and
dipping.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like one of the most powerful builds is just like a werewolf that just goes around smacking things, and every time it smacks things, there's like lightning.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, and so like that build, as far as I know, this is what people say. Like that build requires Tempest
Yeah.
Roar,
Yeah.
and there's no way to target farm it. So there are people that are like, I'm level 98 and I don't have the item yet.
Yeah.
When am I going to get the item? And it's like, first of all, you're an idiot for playing the class that requires the one item that you have no control over. Like, it's what do you expect? Like, you're
Yep.
asking for it.
Yep.
But this might be, I guess, a little bit better for some folks.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they'll have ways of getting it.
so interesting. Yeah. I feel like a huge part of that has been like just the internet, like the YouTube ability of something. Like when something becomes an official build, it's something I want to get every single one of those pieces. And then the RNG that I've come to that, like we talked about that a few weeks ago, where it's like the grind is why Diablo was fun. And now it's just like you chip it away slowly. And it just feels like if it's um common enough for like a bunch of people to have and make guides, now I have the FOMO of like I don't have that cool build. And we've talked before about just the concept of like build guides in general kind of unteach you how to make a build, because you're like, oh well, I'll just a shopping list, like I'll just get these things, and then until I have those things I don't have the best build, and so I just shouldn't care about my gear, as opposed to like finding something. So I feel like it's just, it goes back to that identity crisis of you like Diablo because you like the grind, because you like finding rare items, but then it can be really frustrating to be like, oh, why haven't I found this item yet? It's like farming for a streamer item in Tarkov. You know what I mean? It's like there's 87,000 items in the game. I just want the one. And then you get more and more frustrated. You loot stash after stash, jacket after jacket, and you're like, where's my Loot Lord plushie or whatever it is? And it's like,
but imagine that Loot Lord plushie was instead like ammo for your gun.
Yeah,
and you couldn't, and you didn't have ammo for your gun while
until
you were looking
found,
for it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm using this underpowered build that does, or people will have every build. There's a leveling build and then an end game build. So you have to basically have two builds.
Yeah.
Because the end game build, it only works when you have everything.
Yeah.
It's like a perfectly, you remove one piece of the Jenga thing and the whole thing collapses. So all of the synergies work together insanely well. But that I don't know why that actually reminded me too. Remember how I was talking about how so many people complain about how grindy the game is?
Mm-hmm.
So I like accidentally got to 100 earlier than I wanted to on my barb. I actually wanted to do it on stream, and today I was like recording a little bit of gameplay for my build guide that I'm making for it, and I literally like hit 100 like off stream.
Damn.
And I did like 3 dungeon runs. So I went, I went from like 92 to like 99 in like a day. Now, granted, it was like all day, but
yeah.
I mean, for a normal person playing a couple hours every couple of days, I mean, you're talking about like three play sessions over the course of a week is not unreasonable to get your character from like 90 to 100 if that's like your goal.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's unreasonable. And then I did a bunch of research, and by a bunch I mean I googled one thing. But this is from way back in the day that to get to 90, to get from level 90 to 99, most people used to do bail runs, which is basically like you run past everything down to one level, down to the second level, down to the third level, just running past mobs, just to the door, to the next one, to the door. And then you fight bail, which is like a bunch of waves. There's like 5 waves of the same enemies every time. And then you kill bail. And that's like the most XP you can get, basically. And there's literally bots that the way that you'd have to play the game is you would open up the thing and you'd see like a list of games, and you would see like it would be like, OG Bales with a Z underscore 179. So you'd click that and you get into the game, and the game already has been going on. So like you got to grab the portal to like see they're like 90% of the way through, and then in the bot they just have scripts where they're like, I'm doing this thing, I'm hitting this seal, I'm killing this enemy. All right, we're killing Bale now, and the bots just type it, fight them, automatically pick up any of the good items because they're shared. Like,
dang.
So, and then they'll say like, next one is OG Bales underscore 198. And then they leave, and you literally hit escape. You go back to the thing, you type in the name, but you have to wait a little bit because the bot has to go do it. And if you try to enter it like a game too many times, you'll get like locked out. So you have to wait like maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds. And then you hit enter, and it joins you the game, and you see the bot is like in town, starts to do his thing.
Oh my God.
And you just do it over and over again. Over and over again. You're following a bot, and they're just incrementing the number, and you're like copy pasting, like typing it in. Oh my God. And
that's insane.
Now, to get from 90 to 99 takes approximately 5,500 Bale runs.
Damn. And how long did one take?
I forget how long one took, but I did the math, and it ended up being like roughly like 370 hours or something.
Damn.
And people are complaining that it's too grindy when you can do
it in a week.
So when you look at the level bar is broken up into like 4 chunks. Yeah. Every 1/4 you get a Paragon point, which is like, it's a super complicated skill tree that like I showed you. And along the way, you're doing all of these different dungeons that have dynamic affixes. So there's going to be like the enemies do extra poison damage, and they're resistant to, and it's all randomly, generated. Some of them suck and they're not fun, but at least it's like different every time. Whereas a Bale run is identical every time, right? So you do the same thing for 350 hours. Or you can do one of 30 dungeons that have, a mixture of the same 50 affixes. And every quarter level, you get to like allocate some points. Whereas in Diablo, you have 9 points you're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And if you do one nightmare dungeon, which generally, if you're fast, can take 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That is like halfway to the next Paragon point. So it's around 8 dungeons for a level.
Yeah.
So like if you're really rushing, it's like 40 minutes for a level.
Yeah.
So 10 levels is 8 hours or something. Like 8 hours of gameplay is, that's a week for a casual gamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couple hours on a weekend, couple hours on a Tuesday. And they're like, it's so grindy. Oh my
That's
God.
Wild. Yeah.
It's like you've never played an ARPG. The point of the game is the grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the game. Like why are you they're mad that they can't get to 100? It's like once you get to 100, there's nothing to do in the game anymore.
Yeah, dude. It's
the whole point is progressing.
It's buzzwords now. It's so funny that like grind and end game are the same thing, but they're used in completely different context. I hate the grind. Where's the end game? It's like, just plug those two bad boys together and you got it. The grind is the end game. Like that's what the game is about. That's crazy.
So another one of the things that they have in the patch notes is, so there's something called Renown, which is like the whole map starts off like with a fog of war. And like in the preseason, as you travel, it like clears the fog of war, and as you get waypoints, it saves the waypoints. There's like these statues that there's like 200 statue, like Lilith statues that when you get them, you get like +5 to strength.
Yeah.
And you get like XP bonuses and stuff as you hit these like different renown breakpoints, and that is persistent between characters. But like when the season started, there was a bunch that you had to like do again. And people were like upset about it. Some of it's reasonable. Some of it I think is just the same kind of butthurt. Like you're just playing the game. Like explore, kill things, click on the statues. Like, what are you so mad about?
Yeah.
So they're making it so that a ton more of the rewards, it says, will carry over when completed on any prior character beyond Altars of Lilith and map discovery. So they're still gonna have to do, like, the map is still gonna be Fog of Ward, but like all of the bonuses you get, like to the skill,
Yeah.
like the things that you go and do the Altars of Lilith for, like the strength points.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what you care about. Like when you start a new character right now, at level 1, you already have like 15 skill points that you can allocate.
Because okay. Gotcha.
So at level 1, you start off way more powerful than you did last time because you've got like a, and it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a head start. You also start with like 9 potions instead of 3.
Oh, yeah.
Because every step along the way, you unlocked potions, skill points, upgrades, paragon points, all this other stuff. So that is going to carry over. They also, it says vulnerable, overpower, and critical strike damage updates. So remember how we talked about how like how that's like the whole thing.
Yep.
I think they're going to make some changes to balance that out.
Interesting. Yeah.
They're updating the elemental resistance systems. So we've been ignoring resistances. They haven't done anything.
Oh.
In every other game, like you needed max resistance was like 75%. You needed to hit that if you wanted to like remotely survive anything.
Yeah.
In like Diablo 2. But in like this game, you can just ignore resistances. They don't do anything. If you just replace every resistance stat with like armor or health, you're just better off.
Interesting.
So they're gonna fix that system. People got butthurt when you pick up all these gems because there's all these gems that you socket in, and like it takes up a ton of space. You've got limited stash space. So now they're saying gems no longer take up inventory space, and they're adding the ability to search and filter your stash, which like people have been asking for. And these are like, this is like, honestly, I equate these to like, Nikita, why is there no like quick sell feature? And then Blizzard in 3 weeks is like, we're doing it. It's going to be out in a month. So it's like, once again, when I say they're listening, like you can't say that they're incompetent and they're not listening just because the first iteration had a couple of bugs and didn't do everything you wanted to in hindsight.
It doesn't change the fact that the whole idea came from actual feedback and they're trying to implement it.
Yeah. And like every time they do anything, if you ignore all the losers complaining in chats and on Reddit and stuff, it's just full of a bunch of W's.
That's cool. That's dope.
So I'm looking forward to that. I kind of like wish they hadn't announced it because now I just like want it now.
Yeah, you're like, come on, give it to me.
But yeah, so I just hit 100 on my barb, and making the build guide, it's like so in depth to make it right.
Yeah.
And I want to do another good one because last one got hundreds of thousands of views. I'm like, I want to try to see if I can get the same kind of flavor from that. So like this morning I'm like, dude, I spent all this time the last couple of days in like build planners, writing everything down, explaining. I'm like, I don't feel like playing Diablo today after just editing and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like
that makes sense.
And I got to 100. When I come back to it, which is probably going to be in a few days.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play do a hardcore playthrough.
Oh, nice.
I'm not going to take it too seriously. I know I'm probably going to die before level 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a rogue just because that's what I'm comfortable with. That's what I've played a million times. But I think that's like going to be the most important thing. I'm not fumbling with like keys and
for sure. Like how to play rogue.
But I think I'll.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I think I'll do that. So
why not?
I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's probably going to be a show, but I'll have to play the game differently, for sure. So it'll spice it up. Oh, and the renown and the map and all of those unlocks and upgrades, they're separate for hardcore. So I'm going to play the story all over again. I'm going to be unlocking literally so I'm going to be like playing super slow.
Yep.
But that's at least my plan, I think, for the next time I jump back into Diablo.
Yeah.
But right now,
I saw
I'm playing some Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
And I literally am like, right before we stopped, I'm like exactly where I stopped the last time I played.
Oh.
And I played for like 2.6 hours. Is like what Steam said was the one time I played. And then today, I played for maybe like 5 hours, and I'm like exactly where I was. I've played like twice as much,
Yeah.
and I think all of the was still in the game. I just like missed it
Yeah.
because there's just so much you can do, and there's like 4 characters that are like a part of my party that I probably could have met in like the
Yep.
beta or whatever, that I just didn't because I didn't go left at the fork. I went right, and
Yep.
um, I'm having fun. It's
Dude.
extremely well designed. The graphics are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm having to like learn a bunch of D&D mechanics that like I loosely know because
Yeah.
I've mostly am familiar with D&D. I played one campaign. Um, and but even then it's like not like you do everything once.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
There's so many things. So yeah, I'm learning that. But I
Yeah.
listen to a bunch of podcasts, and they're usually a little bit fast and loose with some of the rules and stuff and some of the mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So in video game form, there's a little bit more intricacy around
Yep.
around some of the stuff.
I've heard
But
such good things, man. Like, I wish I just had an alternate dimension where I could just like veg and play games for forever. Because I really would like. I've watched I watch a bunch of people play Baldur's Gate. Like, it just looks so fun.
yeah, so right now I'm having fun. I am not yet. I might hit this point soon, but everybody. It's like unanimous. They're like game of the year
Yeah, I've
easily,
heard. That surprised me too. I've heard a bunch of people say that.
and everybody's like, get ready to like lose your wife, like you're gonna be
Yeah.
addicted, all this stuff. And I don't want to diminish the game because, like I said, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I don't see that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like after 2 or 3 hours of playing Prison Architect, like I knew this is gonna be like
Yeah.
addicting. Maybe I just need to get a little bit deeper. I don't know.
Yeah, or even or
Uh,
maybe you can just recognize like this is a really well-made game that I'm not gonna fall into. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
oh, this is fun. Like, this is cool.
yeah, but maybe I mean, I really haven't gotten any like gear upgrades yet. And
Yeah.
so I probably don't even know how much I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
totally keeping an open mind. But right now I would say Diablo 4 is more of a game of year
Yeah.
contender than Baldur's Gate. Again, I have hundreds of hours in Diablo
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
and I've
In
got
5 hours.
4 or 5 hours in Baldur's Gate. So
Yeah. That's
I'll
cool though.
probably change my mind by the end of my stream today, for
Yeah.
all we
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Look,
That's dope.
it's good.
Dude, there's so much happening in gaming. Like Baldur's Gate, tons of people are still playing through. Like Kokarn just finished his playthrough. He was like 150 hours. Like, I just had so much fun. Armored Core 6 comes out tomorrow. Starfield early access comes out really soon. We had the Tarkov wipe. Dude, just so much happening in gaming right now. Wish I could just play it all.
Yeah, man. Just get a time machine.
Yep. That's
You
it.
can play a game and then like see how it goes, and then go back like a week, and then play a different game, see how that goes, go back, and then just play
Yeah.
every game, and then be like, which had the best outcome.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. That would be great. That'd be wonderful.
And then you just keep doing that, I guess, and you'd never die.
Hmm.
I will never die. That's one of my favorite lines. You ever see Team America: World Police?
I've seen a bunch of clips. My friends love that movie, but I haven't seen the whole thing beginning to end.
Oh my ears! We'll go out and watch a thing. Jesus Christ! One of my favorite lines from that movie is it's like a cheesy parody on like the hero cop kind of thing, where the woman is like, "I'm so in love with you." She's like, "I will have sex with you right now if you promise me you will never die." And he just looks her in the eyes and goes, "I will never die.
I will never die. Just promise me you'll never die." That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Me and my wife very often are quoting that. Like, babe, I will never die.
Just promise me you'll never die. That's funny.
I'm sweating my tits off. Holy it's hot in here.
Oh, bro. Okay, so we moved, right? And the first thing we did before we even moved into the house, we bought the house. I had them install. It's right there. A mini split. You know what that is, dude? It's 69 degrees in here right now. Nice. And oh my God, it's so wonderful. Dude. Oh, it's just been so hot, and it's so nice not having to rely on a super loud window unit. Oh my God, dude. I love my new office.
I gotta get that. I mean, we had them. So those are the like rectangular.
Yep. That basically mini system, because then it feeds out to actually an entire system that just sits outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we installed. It's probably been a couple of years now in our second floor.
Okay.
Or like the main floor, and in our bedroom, and in the second bedroom, which is like my wife's office.
Yeah.
But I'm in the basement, which is like the front is underground, the back is walkout.
Yeah.
Brick.
Okay.
So it's like having to go through the brick.
That's true.
We should have just had reinstalled, but I think at the time I'm like, I didn't want to move all my because like literally the wall to my is right here.
So to get in and install it, you had to like move your whole desk and everything.
Undo, yeah. But I think I spilled something on my desk right before I had to like go pick my wife up from the airport or something, and like I went to go get up and like knocked something over and I spilled it. Now like something smells in here, and I'm not. I think it might be the mouse pad. So I'm like, I probably should just take like 2 days off from the stream.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice.
I'm jealous.
But yep. That's the stuff. That's the week. Got a lot of stuff going on in Tarkov, and a lot of stuff going on in gaming. But yeah, still having a good time. Still chilling. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging with us. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode. And just once again, such a huge thank you and shout out to the patrons. The support over there has been wild. Super excited to continue to create content for you guys under the podcast. It's been a really just fun outside of Tarkov and the normal content creation stuff thing. Like I think from the beginning it was always just like a fun thing to do, and now that we can actually like do more of it, it's just, I don't know.
Let's watch the King of. If you guys want any ideas, I want to watch the King of Kong, dude, together.
The King of Kong. Yeah.
Let's just vibe, have like, chill and watch it.
That'd be dope.
Give it a try.
That'd be dope. So yeah, patreon.com/the Pogcast pod. God, there's so many P's. I always get them wrong. The Pogcast pod. And yeah, as always, thank you guys for hanging. This will be live on YouTube and all the podcast platforms on Monday. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Peace.